Your thoughts are like investments. Every single thought that you think and plant into the universe is trying to find you in some way or another. If you have negative thoughts, they're going to try to find you in the physical form. Because if your attention is going towards any positive or negative thought, then those thoughts are going, you're going to unconsciously follow those thoughts and those feelings that you subconsciously believe. And that's why it says in the Bible, the sow or the seed you sow, so you shall reap. Because your thoughts, they're investments, and your thoughts and your beliefs and the conviction in your beliefs and the conviction in how the universe works, you are sowing that into your garden of thought, and that eventually becomes your life. So that's what that means. And with that, you need to be able to have a thought in mind and maintain that thought. You need to have the emotional conviction to continuously believe in that thought, because becoming better takes time. If you fumble or if you screw up one time and you think that that's the end of you, then your emotional conviction is going to be aligned with the end of you. See, your energy follows a pendulum, and whatever feeling that you're sitting on is that pendulum that you're riding. But this pendulum is able to take you on another pendulum. These pendulums are like hooks. You can choose to react and acknowledge a good pendulum, or you can choose to acknowledge a bad pendulum. And so you need to remember the emotional conviction that you have and maintain that. If you give up at the first thought of failure, then that is going to bring you back down to that level. And with that, whenever you're trying to maintain this emotional conviction, you cannot think on the gap. If you have all this determination to reach something and you maybe think, how am I going to get there? Whenever you're coming from a sense of how do I get there, you can't analyze how to get there from the lacking of it. You can't think on the gap. You can't say to yourself, oh, I have this much room to get there. That creates blockage. That creates all of your beliefs will think that you have a blockage of some sort of getting there. So you can't think on the gap. You need to think in terms of trust, conviction, faith, that I am going to get that thing, no matter what it takes. And see, the problem that a lot of people screw up on is at the first moment of failure, they give up, they go back, they quit, they say, oh man, this is too hard for me. You need to, becoming close with God, what that means is that you understand the infinite potential that you are capable of, just as God is everything. God is the force that plants grow from the ground, that animals are living. And becoming closer with God is to create an understanding of that divine creative energy that you and everyone in the world has within them. This divine creative energy that is basically infinite potentiality of anything that you can become. That is the God frequency. That's the God energy to release all blockages. You understand that you are capable of anything and you are infinite of everything. And so don't think on the gap. Never also think about what separates you from the goal. Like, oh, I can't become wealthy because that rich person, they have this, they have that. You can't think on how you are separated from the goal. You can't see things in polarity. You can't look at someone's life and say, that's so much higher than mine. If you think it's higher than yours, then you're going to act from the lens of it being higher than you. And you're going to unconsciously react to that lens you see them. And you're going to create the reality of that lesser lens than being wealthy, right? Another thing is you can't take action from fear or doubt. And I was kind of talking about that earlier. When you take action from fear or doubt, you are giving into the energy, the wavelength that you're on. So let's say you're talking about investments. If you make a move based off of emotion, negative emotion, then you're thinking on that gap. You should be making moves from your higher intuition. That goes towards everything. So don't react whenever you're fearful or doubtful towards anything. If you're about to get angry at someone, take a step back, think, why am I about to get angry at this person? Never act on your emotions whenever they're negative, because you're living in that negative state, and taking actions in that negative state or that negative pendulum will bring you to goals that are aligned with that negative state. So don't act from fear or doubt. You got to trust your action. You need to be acting from a state of trust. Like, that is the most powerful feeling that you can have, a state of trust. Like, I know that this is going to benefit me if I consistently believe it, and I consistently believe that I am going to attain this thing, right? Things take time. Like I said earlier, you can't fall back on the doubt. You can't react negatively whenever something bad pops up. You need to stay consistent in that thought and that faith, in the trust. So you need to act from trusted action, meaning you take inspired action. And whenever you're doing all this, you can't miss the signals. See, if you, like I said earlier in the video, if you're asking for something, then it's trying to make its way towards you in one way or another. So whenever you have these opportunities, they will come. Anything that you think about is going to come to you. Whenever you have these opportunities, you can't think in doubt. You need to have trust in that. And you need to watch out for the synchronicities, because things will pop up in your life that are representative of your internal state of being. Because everything acts according to you. You create the outcomes from your internal state. Your emotions create your actions. Your emotions will create your habits, how you treat people, how you act in daily life, what you do every single day. So your emotions is your vibration, and your emotions is just like a pendulum. It takes you on this swing back and forth. How am I going to react? We're constantly changing, right? So you got to watch for the synchronicities. You'll see very subtle hints. You need to actually act on those subtle hints and act from a state of trust. Another thing is, don't deny them. A natural thing that we want to do is whenever these synchronicities happen, we deny them. We say, oh, this is too good to be true. Like this can't actually be happening to me, because we just don't have that trust in ourselves. But if you build that trust within yourself, then you can form that steady relationship in the constant trust. And with all of this, you can't force an outcome. You could be super confident in your goal, but if you're constantly trying to force something, it's not going to come to you, because the universe wants to work in its own timeline. It's not going to abide to yours, It's like people say, God is the one with the true power. God is the true creator. It's because God, or the universe, is manifesting reality for us, while we are just living in we are choosing our thought vibration, our feeling vibration, and exactly what we feel internally is given to us. Nothing external can come without an internal feeling first. So the biggest point of all is to have faith in God. That's one of the biggest things. And consistency with your goal, whatever you want. And emotional conviction. Emotional conviction is the driving force behind attaining that goal. Emotional conviction will maintain your emotional state that you want to attain. And whenever things go downhill, whenever you fuck up, have faith. Have faith that you're going to bounce back. Because at some point you always do, and you can get a chance to bounce back, and you may deny it. A lot of the time people will deny it, but the thing is that, watch out for those times where you have a chance to redeem yourself. These synchronicities, we ask to be better, and we're given chances to be better. Are you going to act on that chance or not? That's the question. Anyway.